Okay, so I know you guys are familiar with Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels, but if you're not familiar, don't worry about it. I got you. So back in 2006, Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump hooked up. Why they hooked up, I don't know. I just know that they did. But the issue with that was, of course, he was married, and at the time, his son Barron was just being born. Either Melania was in the hospital or he was a couple of months old when he had did this affair. So 10 years later, he decided to run for president in 2016. What he did was, after the Access Hollywood tape came out, he started going, and all that started getting out. He went out and reached out to her and said, look, I'll pay you $130,000 not to come out with your story. He didn't pay it to her. He had his lawyer, Michael Cohen, go and pay her. Michael Cohen took a $130,000 second mortgage out of his home to pay Stormy Daniels the $130,000. And then he went to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump paid him like $35,000 a month to repay him. And he didn't want to repay him. Fast forward, a lot of people started doing lawsuits. Everybody started going to court. Michael Cohen ended up going to jail. I think he did about 10 months because of COVID. He got out early. So it was a big mess. But not only that, she had to pay Donald Trump about $300,000 because he countersued and won. So the $130,000 that she got from him, she had to pay that back plus some. Now she has her lawyers and they're in court trying to find out how much the settlement is going to be because she's already lost, and it's a couple of $100,000. You got to listen to this reporting by Rachel Maddow at MSNBC. It's crazy. Now, the one thing I love about Rachel Maddow is she can be a little bit long-winded, but she's trying to tell the story and she wants to get the whole word out. I'm going to try to get this done as fast as I can, but bear with me and bear with her. It's good.
But let me lay it out for you. So, as you mentioned, and as we all know, Trump was convicted earlier this year, 34 felonies, after he paid Stormy Daniels to be quiet. He paid her 11 days before the 2016 election to not talk about her, what she described as her unpleasant experience having sex with him.
She did it on
he
purpose.
paid her so voters would not know
that
about that when they went to vote in 2016. Well, now we have just learned, we have reported out, 20 days, here it is, 20 days before this election, we can report that he is once again trying to pay Stormy Daniels to be quiet ahead of this next
It's crazy. It's crazy. You got to listen. I'm sorry. You got to listen.
election. Here's how we came to it. After Stormy Daniels testified in Trump's criminal trial earlier this year, where Trump was convicted, you might remember she came and did kind of a blockbuster interview here on MSNBC. And in anticipation of that interview, expecting that it might have a big impact, Ms. Daniels set up a GoFundMe to try to crowdfund some of the hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees that she still owed to Trump at the end of the multiple legal cases she had ended up in with him, including, you might remember, an ill-fated defamation case that was filed by her now imprisoned lawyer. Anyway, big mess. She owed him hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that GoFundMe actually did raise enough money for her to pay it off, which is a very big deal for her. That's a life-changing thing. So she's got the money to pay him off. She does owe him the money. Her lawyers start having a back and forth with Trump's lawyers about finalizing the exact amount of the payment.
Well,
and there is a little arithmetic and negotiation that has to happen there. For example, there's interest that accrues on the original amount. So the two sides have to work out how long it's been accruing interest and what the exact amount down to the penny will need to be paid depending on which exact day you pay. I mean, it's normal for there to be some back and forth about that. It's normal for there to be some disagreement. Trump's side at one point was demanding around $652,000. Stormy Daniels' side was saying they thought it should be closer to $600,000.
I don't care. It's still too much money.
So they had to work all this out. At this point, Stormy Daniels is looking forward to having it all over and done with, bringing the whole saga with her and Trump to a close. When it comes time for Stormy Daniels' lawyer to call her and give her the final amount, she decides to film the call.
Here we go.
Because this is a big moment in her life, right? She's expecting to hear from her lawyer on this
I told you, Rachel Maddow likes to draw stuff out. Just bear with her.
Call. Stormy, here's the amount. We've agreed. We're sending the wire tomorrow. And then congratulations, Stormy. It is done. You're officially done. Donald Trump is out of your life. She is expecting this to be a cinematic moment, a big deal in her life. And so she decides to film it. Phone rings. She puts it on speakerphone and she films it. But what her lawyer is calling to tell her is not what she's expecting. Watch.
What we're going to say in the future. That's no way. No I can't let you do that. So he's like, okay, I got to get back with him, you know. So they want to cut some kind of deal where they silence you.
Don't they know that won't work?
It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen.
We had to bleep a little swearing there. But what her lawyer tells her is they want to cut some sort of deal where they silence you.
They want to give her an NDA. They want her to do another NDA. Now, she did an NDA back in 2006, and you see how it all blew up. They want her now to do another NDA to make this go away, even though she's paying them. They want to pay her to sign an NDA so she won't have to talk about it no more.
So this negotiation over paying off the last legal settlement between them, Trump is trying to get another hush money deal with Stormy Daniels ahead of this election. Trump's lawyer basically offered to take it off the bottom line. They would pretend that Stormy Daniels owed less money to Trump than they actually believed she owed.
It's a payment.
If she also signed an agreement to not talk about Trump. You know, when he paid her $130,000 in hush money before the 2016 election, that turned into 34 felony convictions for Trump because a jury found that he illegally laundered those payments through his business to cover it up. This time, they were apparently planning to launder the new hush money payment to Stormy Daniels through the payment of a legal judgment. Now, we know that because of this call. We also know because Ms. Daniels' lawyer has provided us the documents that show how it happened, and I can show you those in print. In this email we obtained from Stormy Daniels' attorney, we've redacted the street addresses and email addresses and phone numbers. Those are our redactions, but this is otherwise exactly what was sent. And I'll read it directly. Dear Clark and Allison, who are Stormy Daniels' lawyers, we disagree that a payment of $620,000 would be in full satisfaction of the three judgments. However, quote, we can agree to settle these matters for $620,000, provided that your client agrees in writing to make no public or private statements related to any alleged past interactions with President Trump or defamatory or disparaging statements about him, his business, and or any affiliates, or his suitability as a candidate for president.
Now, I'm going to speed this up to say this because, you know, TikTok and YouTube, I've only got like 10 minutes. They went to her and said, you owe us $650,000, but we will say that you really owe us $600,000 if you sign an NDA so you can't go out and publicly talk about me in a negative way prior to the election or anytime thereafter. He tried to give her another hush money payment. She said, no, go kick bricks. And they settled on not $650, not $600. They settled on $635,000. So that proves to you that he was trying to buy her silence again. The same reason why he got 34 felony convictions. He tried to do it again right before the election. What the fuck do you think?